What's up, Bears fans? Second video of the day. As promised, we got some training camp news and notes to get into and some other storylines to cover as well. This is why you subscribe. The road to 50,000 subscribers is here as we are at 49,122. So help us get there. Hit that big red button. And by the way, once you sub, or if you've already subbed, type FGB. The real ones know what that means. If you don't, get with the picture. It's F Green Bay. Subscribe, get the FGBs going, and let's get into today's show. Welcome into Bears Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Harrison Graham, back with another video just for you guys. Let's get into some of the headlines coming out of day one of training camp. And I think the biggest one is around Robert Quinn. Robert Quinn, who skipped OTAs, skipped minicamp, and speculation has been out there for months that he could get traded, he could not. Does he want out? Does he not? Well, he made it pretty clear today with the media that not only has he not requested a trade, he doesn't want to go anywhere. He made it clear he wants to stay in Chicago. Here's what he had to say. He said, "I've been traded twice. You get tired of moving. I thought I did a good job last year, but I guess I'll just continue to try to reprove myself. I expect to be here, but I guess if not, well, that's out of my control. I'm just going to take it day by day, have fun with the guys, and just let life take its course." You listen to him talk, too. I encourage everybody after this video to go to the Bears Twitter feed, Facebook page, whatever. Go listen to Robert Quinn and how he sounds. He's very intentional, and when he speaks, he wants to be a Chicago Bear. He doesn't want to get traded. Now, he also said later on, I do know it's a business. Like he said, he's been traded twice. I could get moved, but he has not requested a trade. He has not had that conversation. He doesn't want to go anywhere despite all the speculation, despite all the rumors that have been circulating this offseason. So I'll ask you, do you want Robert Quinn to stay in Chicago? Type K for keep him. You do want him to stay. Or type T for trade him for some draft picks. Let us know in the comments right now, K for keep him or T for trade him. I honestly think the Bears are in a win-win situation with Robert Quinn right now. On one hand, if you trade him, sure, you can get some draft capital and continue to try to get younger, play for the future. Or you keep him, it's valuable to have good vets around, and he's still a damn good football player. Last year, I had 18 and a half sacks. Now, I've repeated this throughout the offseason. I would be surprised if he did that again, but can he give you 10-plus sacks for another year? I definitely think that is a possibility, as he was just a game wrecker last year. I tweeted this out a little bit earlier today. Robert Quinn makes it clear that he wants to be in Chicago. Skipping OTAs and minicamp was, quote, taking care of myself, which is what he said, basically saying not worth the risk of suffering an injury during those portions of the offseason at this point in his career, which honestly, that explanation makes a lot of sense. He's 32 years old. He can pay the minor fines for skipping minicamp, no big deal, train on his own. He knows how to take care of his body and then come to camp ready to go. That's exactly what he did. Skipping minicamp for a veteran in his 30s is not unique. This has happened before, and sure, Matt Eberflus and Ryan Poles didn't say it was an excused absence. It's a new regime. They want everybody there, but I think everyone's on the same page now, like, hey, he's here. He wants to be here. Poles and Eberflus want him here for now, and Quinn even said, yeah, every time I see Coach Flus, he kind of flashes that smile at me, and I'll take that as a positive, as if he wants me to be on this team. And if he's here, again, I think this pass rush could be pretty solid with Robert Quinn and Travis Gibson, Al-Quadin Muhammad, who practiced today after missing most of the offseason program. We'll talk about him a little bit later on in the show. It's a nice little trio. It really is. I think that trio can get it done coming off the edge here in the 2022 season. So again, I think the Bears are in a good spot with Robert Quinn. Maybe you keep him for now, which is what it looks like it's going to happen. Who knows between now and the trade deadline? A lot could change. If the Bears are not in contention at all to make the playoffs, you could flip Robert Quinn. If you are contending, continue to keep him. Hopefully he's balling out and playing at a high level. Who will lead the Bears in sacks this year? I think Robert Quinn has to be the favorite after what he did a year ago, but maybe it's Travis Gibson, maybe it's Al-Quadin Muhammad or someone else. Let me know what you guys think. Who will lead the Bears in sacks this season? Now, today's show is also on Rumble, and I encourage everyone watching right now to go give us a follow on our Rumble channel, because if you've already subscribed on YouTube, this is another free way to support the show. You can find free and uncensored content over there from us and for other content creators as well. If you like sports, news, politics, tech, business, crypto, gaming, cooking. There's all kinds of categories over there with creators producing really good content. So go check it out, rumble.com/Bears. Now you can find all of our videos over there. All right, N'Keal Harry also spoke to the media today, and it really is a second chance for N'Keal Harry after flaming out in New England. Did not play well as a former first-round pick. Got a chance to speak with reporters for the first time since the trade, and he said he jumped out of bed when he found out he got traded. Excited for this fresh start, as he calls it, with the Chicago Bears. Here's what he had to say in further detail. I got a real chip on my shoulder. Looking to come in, prove that I can help this team win. This is a golden opportunity for all of us. It's just who's going to grab it. And I think he's kind of talking about the competition at wide receiver, which is what we've been talking about all offseason long. After Darnell Mooney, things are pretty wide open. Now, Byron Pringle's obviously going to make this team. Velus Jones Jr. is going to make this team as a third-round pick. After that, though, things are very, very, very much up in the air for the Chicago Bears. N'Keal Harry is in the mix now. Equanimous St. Brown, Daz Newsome, Tajay Sharp, David Moore. You've got all these guys on this roster at the wide receiver position, and they're all going to compete for playing time, not just to make the team, but to see if they can carve themselves out a role. Now, N'Keal Harry, in his career, has not done a whole lot. 3 years, he's had kind of 1 year's worth of stats, right? 57 catches, 598 yards, and 4 touchdowns. If he gave the Bears that this year, I think we'd be doing jumping jacks. I don't necessarily expect that much, but he's a big body receiver. Matt Eberflus talked about that. Justin Fields talked about him yesterday. They both seem excited about the opportunity of teaming up with the former first-round pick out of Arizona State. Shout out producer Jack, who went to ASU. We'll see. I'm intrigued. I'm excited. I don't have major expectations for N'Keal Harry, but again, 2024 7th-round pick to get Harry on board. I think that's certainly worthwhile for the Chicago Bears. How excited are you? I think this is a intriguing question. I want to know where you guys come in on it. Scale of 1 to 100 for N'Keal Harry. 1 being not at all, waste of time to trade for him. 100, unbelievably fired up. You still think he can be that first-round pick? I think answers are going to be all over the place. Maybe like a 75. Like, I'm excited, but I don't have major expectations. So I'll give it kind of like a C plus there. Let me know, how excited are you for the Bears' newest wide receiver? All right, Kevin Fishbane tweeted this out, some injury notes from the first day of practice. Robert Quinn was participated. We already talked about that. Roquan Smith was also present, but he's been placed on the PUP list. Stay tuned. I got some thoughts on that. Good positive notes, though. Kyler Gordon, Al-Quadin Muhammad, and Elijah Hicks, guys who missed some or all of the offseason program, were present and practicing, especially Kyler Gordon. That one's significant. I'm glad to see him back out there. Good to see the rookie out of Washington get out there, get some reps, and make some plays for this defense after having some minor stuff during the earlier parts of the offseason. So you want your big investment, second-round pick, to be available, and he was back out there today. Now, let's talk about this Roquan situation, because they put him on the PUP list, and you're like, PUP list, the physically unable to perform list? Here's what Eberflus said he expects out of Smith during this time. Stay involved, be a leader, be engaged, which he's doing and will do. He's a pro. He's been in the league long enough. He's a really good player, and we're excited to have him as a Chicago Bear, and he'll do that. This Roquan injury thing isn't real. Let's be honest. And they peppered Eberflus like, hey, if he gets a new contract, is he all of a sudden going to be physically able to perform? And Eberflus kind of dodged the question. This is a loophole by the Bears to put him on the PUP list, basically so they don't have to fine him for not participating in camp. That's how I view it. I think if he signs a contract tomorrow, he would be there the next day at practice. But he's in the building. He's participating in team meetings, and that's being a good leader. It's protecting yourself from injury, but also being a good teammate, being present in those meetings, and so forth. Are you buying this Roquan Smith injury? Because I think it's pretty clear it's not. Type no for in for no, or H in for hell no. Type it H in for hell no. He's not injured. This is all about him not wanting to practice until he gets a contract. So let us know, no or hell no. All right, some other camp storylines. We'll kind of go a little rapid fire here. Offensive line combinations. I kind of want to talk about how things shook out today. This is what I think the depth chart looks like right now. Now, I acknowledge that with Braxton Jones got some starting reps because Riley Reiff and Michael Schofield are still working up to speed, so Sam Mustipher got some starting reps as well. Larry Borum was the first-team right tackle, though, with Tevin Jenkins kind of working as a swing tackle, so it does look like Borum is ahead of him. But I think long-term, a week from now, for example, Riley Reiff will be getting the bulk of work at left tackle. Michael Schofield will be getting the work at right guard. And then Whitehair and Lucas Patrick will be left guard and center. And then that kind of relieves right tackle as the only real opening. Tevin Jenkins, Larry Borum. We'll see. Maybe when the pads go on, that helps Jenkins out. Not looking great for him early on, though. Nickel cornerback competition. Tavon Young. You see the photo of him right there. He got the majority of first-team reps. After not doing a ton in the offseason program, Thomas Graham got a lot of first-team reps in minicamp and OTAs, but Tavon Young got most of the starting reps, which that doesn't surprise me. He's a vet. He played really well last year. I think if healthy, probably your best option at nickel. Now, what I did find pretty interesting is Kyler Gordon also got some run at nickel, so they're moving him around a little bit. I think he'll settle in at outside corner opposite of Jalen Johnson when it's all said and done, but Matt Eberflus did talk about, hey, we're going to try and get the three best corners out there at the two outside spots and at nickel. But I expect Thomas Graham to get some opportunities as well. All right, Riley Reiff hyping up Justin Fields just a little bit. Didn't go overboard, but he met with the media today as well after signing his contract yesterday. We talked earlier about those contract details, only a cap hit of $3 million for this year. He says he sees similarities between Joe Burrow, who was his quarterback last year in Cincinnati, and Justin Fields. Says he thinks they're both tough. They've got some of the similar leadership attributes. Now, he did acknowledge that he's been, in the building for about a day and a half, so it's not like he knows Fields on the level that he knows Burrow yet, but he sees some of those same intangibles, and I think that's a positive thing as we move forward here, that outsiders coming in continue to recognize the type of leader in Fields that player he can be. Not that he's there yet, but that he can be that guy. All right, this is an interesting one. Eddie Jackson returning punts at training camp today. Zach Pearson tweeted this out, saying Jackson did some punt return work at practice. Matt Eberflus stated that they are trying multiple guys at the position, including Jackson. He also mentioned Bayless Jones Jr., Byron Pringle as some punt return options. So we'll see. Eddie Jackson was a punt returner at Alabama early on in his career. If he ended up being back there, could be interesting as a high-paid safety. Usually high-paid players like that aren't getting a lot of work on special teams. All right, last one. Rookies showing out. Bayless Jones and Jaquan Brisker making a few plays. Sounds like Bayless Jones Jr. made one of the plays of the day as he broke fellow rookie Kyler Gordon's ankles in a red zone drill for a touchdown. That's nice to see. That wiggle is kind of what Bayless Jones can do, as he's a very shifty type of player. Jaquan Brisker had an interception. Not sure which quarterback threw it. Was not able to figure that out, but whether it was Fields or Simeon or whoever, Brisker did haul one in. So that's a good thing to see. Like we said earlier, Kyler Gordon was out there, so nice to see these rookies getting out there, getting some positive work in on day one of training camp. All right, which Bears rookie are you most excited for? We'll kind of wrap things up with this question in the comments. Which rookie are you most excited for? Let us know. Jam-packed show. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow here on Bears Now.